This is Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have a six-pack challenge match with Potsy and Tino on the big podcast show. Holla at a player.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to its tag team champions of the world. That's right, it's Tino Gray, it's Rob Potsy Pochak, the Potsy and Tino Show. Tino, our theme song,
Go ahead.
Our song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. We're coming to you on a special Wednesday night edition of the show, and I just dropped something. I don't know what it was.
I just have two questions. First of all, why are you upstairs again this week? And second of all, what's up with your Hitler hair?
But it's not Hitler hair, man. That's mean.
No, that's the hairstyle he had. That combed over. Yeah. Yeah, no, but you had it to the side. So like
now I got like Conan O'Brien hair. This mop top just does its own thing, man. Like it just does its own thing. The answer to question number one is because I've been lazy and haven't gone to buy light bulbs yet. And I'm going out of town all this weekend, so I didn't really see any reason to go out for light bulbs today. So yeah, there's that. So we always start the show with a little something. It's called What's Up With You?
Not much. Just chilling as we're trying to get through this work week because we leave Saturday for Disney. So counting down the days till Saturday, and then we're gonna probably start packing Friday night. Father-in-law is gonna take us to the airport Saturday, and then we're gone. We're gone from Saturday to the following Sunday. So that's about the most exciting stuff I got going on right now.
I mean, that's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to try the Tron light cycle ride and look how it is.
Yeah. So I got to get all that set up because I know I got to figure out the whole, we call it the Genie Plus thing because they don't do the Fast Pass anymore. So apparently got to get up at early, be on 7 o'clock to start doing all that to make sure you can log in. And it's at 7. And then again, you can try again like at 1 o'clock, but you got to be in the park when you do it at the 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's the same thing they did with the Millennium Falcon. So
really excited.
Yeah, that's something to be excited about. So folks, you see that we're doing the show tonight on a Wednesday special edition, and that's because tomorrow I will be out of town. I will be in Charlotte for Heroes Con, and Tino, like he said, is leaving for next week. So if we have a show next week, it may be me solo, and not solo Sokoa, but just me. So what's up, Chris Barrett? Chris Barrett, why is it that you never seem to show up in the little eyeballs on here when you're in the chat? You notice that, Tino?
I don't see the eyeballs. I can't see who. I can't tell.
Now it says we have one, so maybe he showed up. Maybe he showed up after that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so I'll be at Heroes Con this weekend. Probably the biggest convention I'm going to this year now, because as of yesterday, Tino, I canceled my going to San Diego for the first time in like 6 years, I think. Well, I really wanted to go because they're going to have people from the Grubs cartoon on the big panel that we have. I just heard that they're moving the panel to an even bigger panel room because they expect that many people to be in the room to see some of these stars that'll be there. But it's not something I believe I'm allowed to disclose who's going to be in there yet. So.
Now, when is San Diego?
San Diego is July 19th through 23rd.
I don't know why I was thinking it was later in the year, like October or something. I don't know why I was thinking it was further out. Yeah. So I was going to say, Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, I had a job offer on the table and it was rescinded. So I basically have this convention coming up, and then starting next Monday, I am back to full time looking for a day job. Yay!
Hmm.
It is what it is. I'm not too broken up about it, but it's a little disappointing. I was starting a job on Tuesday, and apparently I'm not. So there's that. But I do have some interesting, fun news. Um, there's uh, so at Heroes Con this weekend, I'm going to have some prints that I had made for the upcoming launch of Zor. So while I don't have like the book I'll have the book on my iPad to show off, but
Are
but I
you
won't
gonna?
have I
Are
won't
you
have
gonna?
any physical copies of anything like that.
Are you gonna do the? What's it called? Trash can. You know what I'm
Ash
talking about? Ash cans. Are you gonna have those?
No. There wasn't enough time to actually like print those out and get
Hmm.
them all. But like it's funny because I did actually design it all on my laptop, and then I don't think I've got enough ink to do it. So I so
Oh.
so I'm not doing that. And yes, boo day jobs, absolutely. I was actually kind of excited about the possibility of where I'd be working too, because it would have been for the Wake County. So I just assume that their background check is a little more extensive than some other companies.
Hey,
Um,
your sister couldn't put in a word to help you out or nothing.
no. In fact, I got told by the people that they really really wanted me, but something came back and they were like, so we feel really disappointed that we can't continue to have the offer out there for you. So like I
Yeah.
said, it's what it is. And I'll keep looking. So, but yeah, so I'll have prints for Zor. I'll have 10 of both covers, both Michael's cover and my cover for it. And then I also have 10 Ninja Turtle prints that I did, that I'm pretty excited about. They came out pretty good. It's featuring the art of Steven Beezer, and then it's got my coloring on it. So I was pretty excited about that. And then another one, I'll have 10 prints for the upcoming launch of Immortal when we relaunch that.
Sweet.
So I've got 10 prints for that as well. I think they're going to go for $15 each at the show. So hopefully we'll start financing the upcoming release of Zor. And then, I've been talking about a little comic book called Stonkered, right? So just want to give everybody an update of that. And Eric has sent me 4 pages of the artwork. I've colored 3 of them already. So we're good to go with that upcoming release. And maybe let's see if I can actually get it to not have a big glare on it here, but so here is one of the pages featuring our leading man, Jack Stonker.
Does he have an S on his shirt?
Yes. So Tino, I wanted to ask you, have you gotten a chance to go see Across the Spider-Verse yet?
No, and that's one of the things when I get back. There's a couple when I get back from Disney because I get back the 25th that Sunday, and then the 27th. Nicole and Matthew are flying out for their annual New York trip, and then they'll be back July 6th because we'll go to the beach July 8th. But while they're gone, I plan on seeing that and The Flash.
Gotcha. I plan to, as soon as I get everything checked in and everything set up at the convention tomorrow in Charlotte. I believe Billy Parker and I will actually be trying to go see the Flash tomorrow night down in Charlotte. So that's going to be pretty fun. There was a reason why I asked you if you had gotten to see Across the Spider-Verse, because remember a little show called The Boondocks.
Yeah,
So you got,
I saw that picture that you did.
and then this one.
Yeah.
So Terrence sent me a fight between those two from the cartoon, and he's like, does this remind you of anybody? And I was like, oh, come on, man, are you trying to say that's Miles and another kid fighting? And he's like,
Yeah.
so anyway, but yeah, so I'll have prints of those two. I'll most likely be coloring the pages of Stonkard as Eric sends them over to me, even while I'm at Heroes Con. So that'll be a good time. But it's going to be nice getting to catch up with some people I haven't seen in a while, getting to hang out and do that fun stuff. So I'm pretty.
This week is Southern Peach. I don't know. I've been trying these out for the past week. I had 4. So this is the last one I've got, and this is Southern Peach, and that one's actually pretty good too. So these aren't that bad.
But what's the percentage on them?
It's not bad. It's 4.8.
So it's like a beer.
4.8, yeah.
Okay, that sounds cool. So all right, Tino, I don't really have anything else crazy going on, so I figured we'd go ahead and I know, right? And so I figured we can go right ahead and jump right in if you want to.
Yeah, so gosh, it gets to where I watch so much wrestling now, they blend together. Like the weeks blend together and I get them confused. So was it this past Friday on SmackDown? Excuse me, where the Usos and Roman confronted? Was that the week before?
That was the week before. This week was when Jimmy Uso wasn't supposed to be there, and Paul Heyman set up the match between Jey Uso and Austin Theory.
Because they're trying to say that Roman is grooming Jey to be the tribal chief. Whenever Roman decides to step down.
Now, were you surprised to hear that Jimmy Uso is actually the older brother?
Now I think they've said that before.
I couldn't remember, but I was like, I thought Jey was the older brother. so I was a little.
They have said that before, and I've forgotten. So then I'm like, oh yeah, Jimmy is older, because it seems like Jey would be older, but
Yeah.
no, it's Jimmy. I like the fact that he hasn't really said if he's staying or not. He's kind of like Heyman tried to get him to shake his hand in the ring. So you're going to be the new tribal chief, and I got you this universal match. So, and he's like, I get back with you on that, and he got out, and then he went back later. You got me on that one. You got me, better, So I'm wondering if Jay's going to be the one stringing them along until he's finally like, hell no, I'm not joining you.
Well, and obviously at the end of the night they had more turmoil happen, which caused him to push Jimmy away from him. Hey, Michael, how's it going with you this evening? Not sure if you're coming down to Charlotte at all this weekend, Michael, but I'll be there for Heroes Con, as you probably already know.
And Michael, we're not having a show next week. I don't think you were here because I will be with Mickey and Disney.
Well, we may have a show next week. I may do it myself.
It won't be as good.
No, of course not. But likely we will not be having a show next week. Just because I don't know if I've ever said this, Tino, but when I would try to do the podcast back in the day, just as me, it never seemed to flow correctly. So it's almost like I need to have like
you need to have somebody to bounce off of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess they opened the show, they closed the show. They talked about how Roman will be back next week. So it almost appears like Roman does 2 shows a month now, unless there's a pay-per-view, and then he does every other pay-per-view, it seems. So we got
something else.
Oh, go ahead.
Something else I did want to talk about, and we had been discussing on how they were going to handle the women's championship. So what they decided to do, instead of switching the titles, they just said, "Fuck it, we'll make a new title for Raw and a new title for SmackDown." Um, we had we had who is it? Scrap Daddy out there giving Asuka the new belt. Bianca tried to run down. It didn't happen. Um, Scrap Daddy had promised Bianca a rematch, and he said, "Okay, I'll leave her alone as long as I get a rematch." So while Scrap Daddy is giving Asuka the belt, damn, the bitch Flair comes back
So
and just cuts in line.
he had mentioned earlier that he was going to be introducing the new championship belt for Asuka, and made Bianca promise to not interfere,
Mm-hmm.
and said, "You'll get your rematch, but you're not allowed to interfere." Which I think is meant to set up a triple threat at SummerSlam between the three of them.
Here's the thing with that, though. Even though I'm only hoping, and I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed that they don't play hot potato with this thing. Asuka just got this belt, so I think they need to let her hold it, and not automatically just give it back to Charlotte like they've done in the past. You know what I mean?
Right, and I'm totally on board with you on the Charlotte doesn't need the belt right now. Because they claim that she's a 14-time champion already, and
well, they're trying to push her so she can tie with her dad. I think that's what they're trying, because a couple of those titles she had, like, she dropped it, then she got it back like 2 weeks later, a month later. So I think they're pushing it along, kind of like the Goldberg thing when they were pushing his streak going. So
yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I just think that they're also trying to do it in a fraction of the time.
Yes.
Like Charlotte's at this point been around since what, 2012?
Yeah, but she's still in her prime, because I don't even think she's 40 yet. She's still in her 30s.
She's definitely not 40. I mean,
yeah, so she's still in her prime. So yeah. So I don't know why they're rushing it, I guess.
And that's why I think that this is going to be Asuka's title to hold on to for a little while. One of the things we've obviously noticed, besides the SmackDown Women's Championship, he kind of goes for long-term championship reigns. The only one that's been changing hands has been that SmackDown Women's World Championship, right? Although I guess Bianca's technically was the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah, and she held it since last WrestleMania.
Yeah. The new belt design, exactly the same as Roman's belt, just smaller.
And they did the same. And when we get to it, the same thing on Raw, the same belt design. So
now,
we'll talk about the.
I did feel, though, that they lessened what the women's championships meant by who actually gave the belts out.
Didn't Scrap Daddy do it
both women's belts? Yes.
Yeah.
But
then Triple H gave out, that's
men's belts.
If they'd have been smart about it, and I don't even know if she's still with the company, but they should have had Stephanie do it.
Stephanie's not with the company anymore. Like, not at all. She is still a stockholder, but she is not on the board. She's not anything else.
So if they didn't have Stephanie, why not? They could have brought out a legend. Maybe not Trish, because she's got something. Maybe bring back Lita or Beth or somebody.
So Beth would have been a nice choice there. Like Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, any of those Hall of Famers.
No, but I think somebody who was a champion should do it.
Sure.
And nothing against the girls you were saying, but I think a champion. So Molly Holly was a champion, right? Yeah. Maybe an Ivory or something like that. Molly Holly would have been great.
But Stacy Keibler was champion once.
Was she?
Yeah. And so was Kelly, and yeah.
That was Diva. I'm not. That was a bullshit champion. I'm talking about a real champion.
The Divas Championship's not a real championship?
That was bullshit. You know good and hell that wasn't with a TNA championship. That wasn't. They were eye candy. They weren't actually like lead. When I think of wrestling, like Lita, Molly Holly, Beth. You know what I'm saying? China.
What about Eve Torres?
Mm-mm.
She was a multi-time champion.
Doesn't count. Michelle McCool, I'd rather say Michelle McCool, even though she was a Divas, but she's more of a believable athlete. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
They gave Asuka the new belt, like you said. Charlotte came down, and Charlotte says, "I don't wait in line. I move to the front of the line. That's what a queen does." Blah blah blah. And Adam Pearce is on the phone with who knows who, and he's just like, "Yeah, they just fell in my lap. Yeah, we're Night of Champions or not King of the Ring.
Money in the Bank.
In the Bank. We've got our women's world championship." And then all of a sudden, like, he turns and he looks, and Bianca's standing there, definitely looking like she's turning heel. Definitely looking like she's getting ready to turn heel.
No, because we all know because Asuka isn't absolutely face yet. If they change Asuka face, then I can see Bianca going heel.
Sure.
They're not gonna have. They don't like doing face and heel versus heel. They like to have the face versus the heel.
Right. Again, though, I still think that this is gonna amount to a triple threat at SummerSlam.
So it's two heels against the face then.
Mm-hmm. Well, and think about who the face is there.
Bianca.
No, it'd be Charlotte. Charlotte right now, they're trying to get over as the baby face.
That never works. She's a better heel.
Well, no shit. I agree, but so we got that going on. We got another bit of turmoil as Sammy confronts Jey Uso backstage, and then Sammy in the locker room. Kevin walks up to him. Kevin sits there and says, "Hey, did you talk to him?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know where his head is right now." Blah blah blah. So it's almost like Kevin Owens is okay with him talking to Jey Uso at this point, because Sammy's stirring the pot, trying to get everything with the bloodline to just explode in everybody's face.
Now,
well, hold on. This leads to Pretty Deadly coming up and saying, you guys just seem to come out here and talk all the time. You don't ever seem to get in the ring. So how about you give us a tag title match? And then all of a sudden, like, Sheamus and Ridge Holland come out, and they say that they want a tag team title match. Then we get who's
Street Profits.
Oh, there was someone before the Street Profits, because there were actually 5 tag teams that they ended up having show up for it, and basically Adam Pearce comes in because Kevin Owens is like, why does everybody interrupt us when we're trying to do? I'm just and then of course Sammy's like, remember your blood pressure, man. Remember your blood.
And you said you don't like this version of KO. I think it's fucking hilarious.
I don't hate it because it's KO, right? He doesn't do a lot bad. He does a lot really, really well. I just feel like they're making him a comedy bit when he's supposed to be the prize fighter.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of comedy. I mean, Stone Cold the Badass. Remember when he's doing comedy too. Granted, he was hurt, but it doesn't hurt for them to show their comedic sides.
Sorry, I can't with this hair today. When I got up this morning and I walked into the bathroom and I looked in the mirror, it was just like Sheamus's damn, like, back when he had the mohawk. Anyways, so Adam Pearce sets up a gauntlet match for next week for the 5 different tag teams, and whoever wins that gauntlet match becomes the number 1 contender on SmackDown for the undisputed tag team championship.
Now, I like Michael's thing in the comments. They want Belair and the Street Profits to turn heel. Now, I think it is time, because I don't think the Street Profits have had a good heel run since they were in NXT. I don't think they've had a heel run since they've come to the main roster. So to freshen them up, it might be good to turn them heel.
Right, and the rumor is that if they turn the Street Profits, they're also going to turn Bianca. So
yeah.
So and I do like I said, her attitude is becoming a little a little more questionable.
Because I think her last good heel run was in NXT too.
Yeah, it was. So we got
Her,
that. Then
her,
then we got
her.
Jey Uso backstage talking to Paul Heyman, and this is when Paul Heyman did the, "Oh, you got me real good out there. Oh, you got me." And Jay goes, "Oh, I got you, OG, huh? Because just so you know, if I am in the bloodline, that means you out the bloodline."
I don't know what that means. I was trying to figure out what that means because he's the wise man. That's Roman's. So
He's basically saying that the bloodline ain't big enough for the both of us. He thinks that the reason why Roman is the way he is because Paul Heyman's whispering it into his ear.
Oh, okay. I was
So,
confused about that line. Okay, that makes sense.
so then, of course, we get a couple other matches. We get what I thought was pretty interesting was we got Shayna and Ronda came out.
That's what I wanted to talk about next.
To talk about Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and basically in a really Shayna had the mic, so it was working fine until all of a sudden Ronda took the mic. It was like, we want yours. And it was just terrible. But then, of course, like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, I think they missed what they were supposed to say at that point because all of a sudden
Ronda fucked it up.
because it all just went over like a clusterfuck. But apparently now, is that at Money in the Bank as well? Or are they doing that at Money in the Bank, or is that next week?
I think that's next week. I want to say, or before Money in the Bank. It's not at Money in the Bank. And what I don't like about this is we know that Ronda and Shane aren't losing those belts, so they're about to be double champs.
Well, it's not even going to be double champs. They've already said this is a unification match.
Unification match.
And I loved what Shayna said about it. She goes, "Do you know why you even have those belts?
Because they made them for me." Yep.
They made them for me because
and they did.
Yeah. They took the Dusty Classic winner that year, and they gave them the NXT Tag Team Championships because Vince McMahon didn't want the NXT team to actually beat Shayna and Nia Jax. So yeah, that was Dakota Kai and Raquel Rodriguez, I believe.
Yeah. So here's my thing then. So does that mean so if they unify them, then are they gonna defend those over all three brands, including NXT? So NXT, whenever they get their women's tag team bullshit together, they'll have a shot at the unified title as well, or is it just still stay in the main roster and NXT is going to be out of luck?
I would think that this means that any tag team that comes up through NXT, because they'll do another Dusty Classic. So and they obviously have a plethora of women's wrestlers down there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, putting 2 or 3 of them as a tag team, it's just at this point there aren't enough of them as tag teams down there to really justify them having a tag team championship for the women. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I would even say that you do the same thing with the men's tag team championship, and then you actually have Kevin and Sammy have to defend on NXT once a month.
Yeah. So yes, Michael, that's what they're going to do. They're going to unify them. They're not going to. I think they're trying to get away from the double belts, like they did with Roman, and pretty soon they're like Robert's just saying they'll probably do the same thing with Kevin and Sammy. I'm just waiting to see how long they're going to wait to do that. I mean, they're unifying all the other. They've unified Romans. They get the new belts for Rhea and Asuka. So when are they going to pay attention to the men's tag team titles? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if they unify the women's, they're gonna have to. I'm sure they're gonna make one set of belts for that as well.
Well, I think they'll just keep the same belts at this point.
No, Michael, I don't like it as a fan. I think the NXT belt should stay they should have went back to NXT and lost them at NXT and then come back up to the main roster.
I think that this is a decision. I think Triple H made the decision to even create those tag team championships in NXT because he was mad at Vince McMahon's decision of, taking the basically making the NXT women's best tag team just get whooped by, like I said, Shayna and Nia at that one point, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, like now he's probably doing this as a make good or a reversal of roles because like you and I have said, there's been a lot of stuff where it seems like Triple H has reversed decisions that had to be made back in the day.
Right.
Like obviously changing LA Knight back to LA Knight, changing like Karrion Kross coming back, different things like that just make sense. And this is one of those where the championship, the women's tag team championship in NXT, they weren't really being defended. Like you had Fallon and what's her face have them for a little bit. You had Katana Chance and Caden what's her name had them for a while, but they really didn't defend them all that often. So now hopefully it means that the tag teams will get opportunities to show up on either the main roster or have the tag team champions come down to them. So I'm okay with it. I don't know if they'll actually do it with the men's division 1 or not. And the reason why I say that is because if you think about it, the men's division always seems to have 2 or 3 serious tag teams down there. And obviously right now you got Gallus, you've got Joe Gacy's guys, you've got.
Yeah, I don't think they have to worry about the NXT men's tag champion because they've got plenty of, like you said, guys, tag teams,
right.
Men tag teams.
Although it does show a deficiency, kind of like what I said about how Adam Pearce is the one delivering the women's championship belts instead of Triple H being the one that's doing it. Especially when Triple H is backstage. So, yeah. In the main event of the night, because I don't know if there were any other matches to really talk about. In the main event of the night, we got Austin Theory versus Jey Uso. Pretty Deadly got involved. Solo came down when he saw Jimmy come down to help his brother. Solo goes to basically knock out Jimmy. Jimmy ends up super kicking Jay, causing a lot more turmoil between those 3 brothers in the bloodline or out of the bloodline, whatever the case might be. And obviously, like as Jay's walking up the ramp, after losing the match, you hear Paul Heyman going, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know he was going to do that. I'm sorry. And of course, Jimmy was also like, bro, I didn't mean to kick you. I was trying to kick Solo, and all that. So just more and more turmoil for the bloodline. And I'm here for it. It's awesome.
Yeah, they've taken this. I thought that they could take it as far as it would go, and then they've just managed to milk it more. So it's like
Energizer batteries, man. It just keeps going and going and go. And unfortunately, I do think if they don't end it at some point, it is going to go stale.
Yeah.
So
it's got to be coming to an end, though.
Although there are other Samoans they could bring in.
Nah, I think they're about it's played out. I think by WrestleMania it'll be done.
Well,
I'll give it to WrestleMania.
I think they'll try to bring them back together at Survivor Series or something, and that'll blow up in their face, and that'll be the end of it.
So you don't think it'll make it to WrestleMania?
I don't think so. I think Roman can make it to WrestleMania with the title. I don't know if the bloodline was. It may just be Roman and Solo at that point, like straight up.
Not even Paul Heyman.
I mean, yes. I think that Paul stays with Roman because they just make a good fit,
Okay.
So, I didn't watch Rampage, so I don't know what happened.
I don't remember what happened, so it wasn't
anything important.
Mm-mm.
Monday Night Raw. I told you I fell asleep like 3 times watching it. That hadn't happened in a while. Now I will say I was watching it later because I was attempting to let it record about half of it so I could skip the commercials when I finally did watch it, and then I just kept falling asleep during it. But we got a really weird Chad Gable dressed up as an actual coach backstage coaching Otis up. And
then they had did you see the match where so it was Gable against Eric of the Viking Raiders, and Ivar and Valhalla were at ringside, and so was obviously Otis and Maxine Dupree. So at one point, Gable's going at it in the ring with Eric, and Valhalla's just staring Maxine down on the other side of the ring. So she decides she's gonna go eat. She tried to sneak up on her, try to run around, and Maxine saw her coming and did an arm drag and took her down.
And she was like, "Took her down! I took her down!"
She's like, "I did it!" And while all that was going on, it distracted Eric, and Chad got him with the roll up. So he managed to win the match. So it was pretty good. It was good.
Chad Gable with a victory. What?
Want to talk about the Judgment Day's imploding? They're backstage and they're walking, and he's like, they're all talking. And I was watching somebody on TikTok. They're like, where do they hang out? Where it's always purple light and they're smoky all the time. Where are they hanging out?
But they're hanging out near the Street Profits.
And so they were talking, and Damien's like, yeah, I've got my qualifying match. He said, but I want to go out here by myself. And he kind of looked at, Finn wasn't looking at him, so he's looking at Finn, and then he walked out, and Finn's got this hole on his face. And so it's just, and then he goes out, he wins. Finn, of course, he's jealous, so he goes and he challenges Seth. Now the best part of that, his whole promo, they're still singing Seth's song, and he's trying to talk, and they're like, oh, and Seth's just laughing and watching it happen. So he pretty much goes, well, I've been holding this back for 7 years, something I want to say. He goes, what do you want to say? Go ahead and say it. He said, you've been holding me back, and what you did, took me out for a year, and you hurt me, and blah, 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 blah. He goes, so I want to match with you. So at the end, so during that, Seth hit him with, there's two things that happened. He goes, you got bitter, but I got better. I thought that was a good line. And then as he's leaving, he told him he'd give him the match. He goes, but are you gonna come as the bitch Baylor or something? He called him a bitch pretty much before he jumped out the ring.
Finn basically in this moment, to me, kind of tugged at the heartstrings and actually gave almost a baby face like promo here. And Seth's attitude towards it actually came across kind of heelish, because he was kind of just like dismissing him.
Well, that's his whole, yeah, and that I get, that's his whole, and I agree with you. I get that's his whole gimmick now. He's trying to be funny and make light of everything, but it did in that segment come off as heelish.
Yeah, and it I hate to say it, but it makes me want Balor to beat him for the title.
And that's what Michael was just saying. He said, I think Finn should win the title. I think that would be a good thing. And the Money in the Bank, I see LA Knight winning the Money in the Bank. It's men's case. And that could be something totally surprised that you're not looking out for. I'm calling either LA Knight or Bronson Reed is going to somehow get into that Money in the Bank. And I see Bronson winning.
I was a little surprised to see that there wasn't a last chance.
Yeah,
either Battle Royal or Last Chance, Fatal 5-Way or whatever. To try
well,
to
they still got time.
They do, but they're saying that the field's already full.
But they always say that, and then something will happen. Somebody will get hurt because there's a couple. Who was in there? I was like, I don't think he belongs in there, so he might get taken out. And I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I don't know. And it would be interesting to see Bronson Reed win it, but there's a couple things I don't like about what they're talking about when it comes to the Money in the Bank. LA Knight on SmackDown was talking about it considerably, saying that you can go after any championship at any time, and they kept, they basically implied that it's not going to be someone going after the world championship anymore. And I don't like that because that was the point of it. And now they're
Well, I think what they're saying too. I mean, you got to think about it too. If they can't, like, they're getting some of the guys going back down to NXT, so they don't necessarily have to go for a main roster. They could go down and fuck with Carmelo and take his belt, and then Carmelo can come up.
yeah, but who wants to do that? Like
It's a
if
champion.
you won Money in the Bank and you can cash it in at any time, anywhere. Hold on.
But
Hold on. Aren't you going to do what the Ultimate Opportunist Edge did multiple times? Wait until Roman Reigns is down for the count, and then stick your nose in, get the pin, end the reign, and have everybody sit there and just be jaw dropped, shocked off their ass, and
and lot
that could actually start a babyface turn for Roman.
yes, that logically makes sense. But right now, until that bloodline thing's done, Roman's not dropping that belt. So
Sure,
that'll be a waste. They're
but
not.
you
But Seth is too hot right now. They're not taking it off Seth. So
right,
so I take that. So if they win the Money in Bank, then we can say that this is. Remember, they were giving the percentages of the guys who cashed in the Money in Bank who tried and failed. So you'll get a Money in the Bank, and then they'll try to cash it in and they'll fail. So that's a waste.
I'd still rather that, especially if someone sits there and says, "I'm not going to get you when you're down and out. I'm going to prove that I get myself up to there, and then I beat you one-on-one." Now, granted, I'm not saying that they win, but
Yeah.
but I still don't like the idea of them going for a U.S. title or an Intercontinental title
Yeah.
or an NXT title, or like, oh, here I am, I'm LA Knight. I just won the Money in the Bank. Let me go after the North American Championship.
Well, no, I think but he could probably go out there like an Intercontinental or a U.S. title only because they've been elevated. Look how long that both those champions have held those titles.
And like Michael said, the ladies have a 100% cash in rate. Which yeah, and that makes sense. That obviously there hasn't been enough Money in the Banks for women to not have the loss yet. But so the positive to the men's Money in the Bank is that none of those men have held a world title yet.
Yeah.
But then if they're not going to go after the world title, what's the point?
Didn't Braun Strowman win Money in the Bank? I thought he did.
Monster in the Bank? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm gonna come with Chris Barrett. Chris Barrett just said Bronson Reed is too big to win Money in the Bank. Braun Strowman won Money in the Bank.
Kane won Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Lesnar won Money in the Bank.
Well, yeah, but Lesnar never should have won Money in the Bank because he wasn't even technically in that match.
Well, Asuka, the reason why Asuka was handed that belt because she was set to win that belt anyway.
And Becky was pregnant.
Yeah, but even if Becky wasn't pregnant, Asuka was going to win that anyway.
She was going to win the belt,
yeah.
But she wasn't going to win it in the Money in the Bank.
Right. So they just
actually
that's why they gave her the belt in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, because I even remember when Becky said, "I want you to go ahead and open that briefcase." When she opened the briefcase, the belt was in the briefcase.
Yeah, but Barrett was saying she was handed the belt and that didn't count. The reason why she was handed that belt that way is because she was going to win the belt, but Becky ended up getting pregnant. So even if they'd have had that match, she'd have belted her. She'd have beat her.
Right. And I concur. I agree with that.
Okay.
We got more Kevin and Sammy shenanigans on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, making the tag team. It was supposed to be just a regular match, but Kevin's like, you know what? He goes, I need to go put on my gear. I got on shorts and a t-shirt. Well, my gear is my same gear, but it's a different shorts. I'm sorry. It's funny to me.
Well, it was funny. That one was funny to me too. I laughed pretty good at that one. And even the things where like Chad Gable and Otis come out and he goes, "Go ahead and say that thing that you're really funny with. Go ahead and say it. Say that funny thing that you do." And he's like, what do I say that's funny? And he's like, oh, I know.
Thank you.
And he's
Oh,
like, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Another thing that I forgot to mention in the match with Chad Gable and Eric that made me laugh is at the beginning of the match, Eric got in his face and went, "Roar!" And Gable looked around and the crowd was already yelling, "Shoosh!" So he just went, "Shoosh!" in his face. So that's the stupidest thing. "Shoosh" and "thank you" has caught on.
Yeah. Gable is over, dude, and they are. I mean, they're it's not even slow. They're baby faces now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They are.
Like Chad Gable's finally getting to be a baby face.
Yeah. Well, Otis was already, and they weren't really. People were still booing Chad, but they were cheering Otis, and now they're both getting the cheer. So I think that's good.
And I love the fact that when it comes to Chad, they didn't change him at all.
No.
He literally is still doing the two catchphrases that when he was doing them as a heel, you couldn't stand him. And then all of a sudden, when he's a babyface, you just love it now. And it reminds me of the "you suck" chants for Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like now when Kurt Angle comes out and everybody's "you suck," he's going, you know, he's like just counting the cheers in. So we had that. We got Dominic and Cody set up for a match at Money in the Bank.
They're pushing Dom.
Yep.
And he deserves to get pushed. I don't see him beating Cody. I don't see him beating Cody. I see it being a good match, but I don't see Dom winning.
No, I agree. I think. Well, actually, I think Brock Lesnar comes back and destroys Cody after a ref bump, and Dominic gets tossed on top of him and gets a win.
That'd be the only way.
Yeah, I mean, or Rhea Ripley gives the Riptide to Cody, also after a ref bump. I could see that as well, especially since Cody won't raise his hands to her. Though I could also see Brandy coming out and
I'm waiting for that
horrible
mistake.
What?
Mistake.
Not a mistake, but mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, because Rhea can fuck her up.
Yeah, I could just see that one going badly. What else did we get on Raw? Because it's a 3-hour show.
Hold on. What was that? The 12th. Okay. Raw results. What did I say? 6/12.
Yeah.
The backstage when appearing did come up to Sammy and
Kevin.
They're like, there's usually 3 of you. Yeah, where's Baldy? So they kept calling him Baldy.
And then Adam Pearce showed up and he goes, there he is. And he's like, no, not this Baldy, the other Baldy.
I forgot about that, but yeah. Let's see.
So again, I'm enjoying Kevin Owens and his comedy, but like but I still miss the Kevin Owens that you knew was good enough to win a world championship.
Cody fought The Miz, and that was after Dom hit him from behind. Becky Lynch and Chelsea Green had their match, but of course Zoe Starks was down there, and she told Zoe, "You sit up there and watch."
Oh, and Zoe Stark pulled a Ronda Rousey and blew her lines pretty abysmally when she sat there and said something like "Shut your face," or I'll bust your face, or something like that, and it just came across so badly. And then and then she said, you know, the only reason why you're as popular as you are is because someone came down and busted your nose. And I was like, and then she's like, I'll bust your face even more. I'll bust your face again. And I'm like, okay, don't let her talk on the mic.
Raquel. Oh, that's right. Raquel Rodriguez against Shayna Baszler. That was a good match until Ronda got involved.
Yep.
There's also the backstage statement too I want to talk about, and we've heard rumors that JD McDonough will be joining the Judgment Day. So you get backstage, who's JD talking to? Finn Balor, and he's like, yeah, he said thanks for the advice, and he goes, and that other thing you want to take care of. He kind of looked at Damien and said, well, yeah, we'll talk later. So I'm wondering if
If
old
JD
Jade.
got to be the one that kicks Finn out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they need an Irish guy, right? So that keeps the Irish guy in there. And
Finn Balor's Irish.
I know, but if they're kicking Finn Balor out,
they're not kicking Finn out. They're kicking Damien out.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because Finn and Damien have been at odds. If you notice, the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, they've been
and they're pushing towards that. I think Damien's going to get a face turn.
See, I would have thought. I think Finn's getting the baby face turn.
Damien's on his way out.
Well, I see. I think Damien makes better sense as a long-term heel right now than Finn does. I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. I can't stand watching JD McDonough's giant fucking head. Like that dude every week he looks more and more like a bobblehead. He's got his head's like this fucking big. And he's got this little body that goes with it. He looks like a pop vinyl. Like it just annoys me, man. And I know you hate it, but the Miz versus Cody, I thought was an excellent match. It really showed the solid hand that you know the Miz actually still is.
They're wasting him too.
No, I mean they're wasting him. They're wasting Dolph Ziggler. You know, like the list goes on. There's a lot of people they're not pushing correctly. One thing that we forgot to talk about on SmackDown was AJ Styles. While Michin was up against her opponent, and then Scarlett came down and misted him in the face, and Karrion Kross put him in the cross jacket while he was at commentary. Because one line that really made me laugh was when Michael Cole was like, well, I guess we're getting joined at a commentary by LA Knight. And then later he was like, I guess we're getting joined at commentary by AJ Styles now, too. I just, for whatever reason, it wasn't even really a funny line, but it made me laugh because it looked like Michael Cole had no idea it was coming. The main event for Raw saw Gunter and Ludwig Kaiser going up against KO and Sammy for the World Tag Team Undisputed Championships. And after a banger between KO and Gunter last week, this was another banger of a match. When I finally did watch it, it was good. I was taken aback by it. It went outside the ring. Basically, Gunter got taken out by KO outside the ring, and Matt Riddle came down and got into the fray, and then Sammy hit Kaiser, got the 1, 2, 3, and that was the end of Imperium for the night. And like I said, banger of a match. Like those four competitors in the ring. Ludwig Kaiser doesn't get enough credit for being basically a jobber on what used to be a really good faction, right? Although Giovanni would really be the jobber in that group, but you knew who was taking the pinfall in this match, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Chris Barrett just I don't even want to read it out loud. So NXT last night,
Started out with a 6-man. It started out with Schism versus Mustafa Ali, Tyler Bate, and Wesley.
Now, and remember that Mustafa Ali is a
Free agent.
free agent, so him and Baron Corbin can show up on any show that they want. We didn't even mention Baron Corbin not qualifying for the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Because Mello showed up and caused the distraction, so he lost that match. Who did he lose that to? I don't even remember.
Fuck me neither.
It was a smaller guy.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But anyway, Mustafa being part of a 6-man here, like,
yep.
What am I missing?
Mustafa is trying to smooth his way into a North American title situation because he knows that Tyler Bate's there, so he's trying to smooth in. He's trying to wedge his way into that relationship with Tyler and Wes and trying to ingratiate himself. And I think what's going to end up happening is he's going to turn. Mustafa's eventually going to turn heel and go after Wes for that belt. The way it's looking now, he's just being a little too. Right now, he's a little too sketchy right now for me, and I think that's where they're going.
Yeah, I that. Did we get any Tiffy this week?
Nah, we got no. Well, I'm looking. Next after that match was the in-ring segment with Braun Breaker. He's pretty much coming out saying, "Hey, I made headlines last week. I called out Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins, what's your answer?" And Seth came on the Tron and pretty much he accepted it. He accepted that the challenge. So next week it will be Braun and Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship, which he's in for a busy week because he also just did an open challenge for Monday night. So he's going to defend it Monday night, and now he's defending it Tuesday night.
Well, he said he wants to be a working man's champion. So that's kind of what you got to do in that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Next, we got Cora Jade interrupts Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke was back. They did a vignette for Dana Brooke, and then she's backstage getting interviewed. And then Jade was blaming Brooke for the Battle Royal loss, and Brooke tells her it was her own fault, and Jade proceeds to smack the shit out of Dana Brooke and just walks away. And Brooke's kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, walk away.
Well, and Cora Jade has a AEW women's title match tonight on AEW, right? As Sky Blue, her other character.
Backstage, Tyler Bate, Wesley, and Ali are celebrating. Ali said that he has set it up to where Wesley and Tyler Bate will have a match, and Ali is going to be the special guest referee. Then you got Cora Jade versus Thea Hale. And Thea Hale wins because, Dana Brooke, who just got slapped backstage, came out and when Jay got knocked out of the ring, she threw her to the ring steps and then threw her back in the ring, and Thea Hale puts on the Kimura, and Jade tapped out. Next. Oh God. No. Before I get to the old God match, I forgot about the backstage thing with Mr. Stone and Von Wagner. So they were talking about the therapist that he's been going to, the lady and all that good stuff. And he's like, yeah. And Stone's like, well, did you talk to her about the picture? He goes, no, I didn't talk to her about the picture. She told me I need to talk to somebody who I could trust. And he goes, well, who is you? You turned down all these other therapists, and I got money. Money's not a problem. And Bond's like, to be so smart, you're stupid. And Stone's like, who do you trust? Who do you trust? And Von Wagner said, you. I trust you. And then he walks away. And then Stone gets a stupid smile on his face. So they made a breakthrough. Oh. So the match, I said, oh God.
Let me guess, because I didn't watch it. Was it Ava Rain?
No.
Oh, okay.
Dabba-Kato versus Script and Axiom.
Well, they would have a lot of flippy flop.
Scripts and Axiom won. They double teamed, did the flippy flop. But to be fair, they got him on one knee, and Axiom kicked him what they call the golden ratio. It almost looked like a shining wizard / super kick, and he caught that bitch right between his eyes. And when Dabba-Kato landed, either he was good at it or he was selling. His eyes were glazed when they did the cover. I think he really knocked him.
So it was a 2-on-1 match.
Yeah, it was a handicap,
and he lost.
Mm-hmm.
That almost never happens.
After the match, guess who's back? Back again.
Shady?
Shady's back. Tell a friend. So Scripps and Axiom were attacked from behind by Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza.
Wow.
They're back.
And I guess they're free agents.
They didn't say that they were free
I would
agents.
assume they are.
I don't think, no, well, possibly. They might have got moved back down to SmackDown. Back down to NXT.
They're a solid tag team.
Which they need, yeah. But the end of the show, you'll see.
Okay.
Idris and Nofe and Malik Blade decide they're going to do their one-on-one match. Remember how they were doing like the tag team dudes were facing each other, and that made them stronger and made them, brought them together during that storyline with Hank the Tank and Hank and Tank and with Briggs and Jensen. So Malik Blade wins. Okay, so Briggs and Jensen, and then Hank and Tank, they all get in the ring, right? So there's the three teams in the ring. They're congratulating each other. Booker T gets on the mic and he announces that the three teams in the ring will face each other next week. The winner will get a shot at the tag team championship. So when he says that, what happens? All hell breaks loose, and then the three teams start fighting. So the whole time they're fighting up top, Garza and Carrillo are looking down and saying, yeah, we want to be part of this too. So I think they're going to get in the mix for the tag team champions. Or, getting in that mix. Roxanne Perez against Tatum Paxley. I need you to watch this match because at the end of this, Perez won, but at the end of this match, there was always something missing with Perez, and she's mad. So she came down because if you remember last week in the Battle Royal, Paxley came and took her out trying to help that other new British lady, right?
Right.
So Perez gets the pin. After the match, she does this promo on Davenport saying she's not afraid. She's getting the edgier side. I don't know, something was different about this promo. You can see it in her face, her eyes, her facial expression. I think she's going to get a mean streak.
So I took it up a notch.
Yeah, I think I want you to just go back when you get a chance, just watch the promo. And like I said, it's the way she's speaking, her body language, her facial. It's not happy-go-lucky Roxanne. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's I'm done playing around and I'm ready to whoop some ass, Perez. So then you got a number one contenders match with Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov,
which I'm assuming was a nice match.
Mm-hmm. But Baron won. So after that match, Dragunov is beat down. Breaker comes out, and him and Dragunov get into it, and then Carmelo attacks the barricade and attacks Corbin, and that's when we go off the air. Corbin and Carmelo going at it. And that was NXT. So I'm gonna let you handle AEW.
Well, I mean, it's going on right now.
Oh damn, this is Wednesday. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I guess that's it.
Yeah, we gotta hop off here so we can actually watch AEW.
What's going on? So what we got tonight? We got
Adam Cole versus MJF for the world title. I have a feeling that MJF's gonna have hired some goons to bring, and you know what? It's probably gonna be that he hires the girls that are normally with Jade, and they'll come out and or he'll be working with Saraya maybe, and Britt will come out like beat up or something, and that'll cause Adam Cole to run out of the ring and lose the match. I don't see it staying as a singles match that has a definitive winner.
I don't know if Saraya will come out because she's going to have her hands busy because she's got to go down there with Tony because Tony's going against Sky Blue. So I think that all three of those, Destination Unknown and what's
Ruby
her name?
Soho.
Ruby Soho, Saraya are going to be at ringside with Tony.
I mean, that doesn't stop them from doing something, with that. But maybe.
I remembered something from Rampage.
Okay.
Jared and his posse were on the ramp and they were talking and they were being interviewed and then Karen started talking shit. Well, you got this referee bitch and I will beat her ass. And so she calls out Aubrey and then reach for the sky, boy. So she comes out with Mark and Ruby's not Ruby, damn Aubrey's like, good and well that I'm a referee and I'm not a competitor. She said, but I can't beat your ass. She said, but if I see you in catering, if I see you in the hotel, if I see you in the parking lot, I'm kicking your ass. So then Briscoe's like, hey, I already went back there and talked to my main man, Tony Khan. So what he's done is now Aubrey can't fight Karen one-on-one, but they can have a mixed intergender
Right.
match.
And he's pissed off at Jeff Jarrett too. So
it's gonna be and then Jay started to say something. He goes, you shut up, Jay. He said, you shut up, Jay. He said, we're friends and all, but I'll knock you out too. I'm like, oh shit. And so
I am not happy or care at all about that match.
It's gonna be Mark and Aubrey and Karen and the wife stealer.
Double J.
Yeah. So
JE double F.
What the fuck are you? See, I don't know why I look down there and get aggravated. You look at Chris Bear's last. On that note, cue the music.
Folks, you can catch Tino on Twitter at
FreeFan91.
You can catch him on Instagram at SCTino. You can catch the show on Twitter at Potsy and Tino. You can catch me on TikTok and on one of my Instagrams at Rob Potsy Potchak. My other is at Rob Potchak. You can follow me on Twitter at Potchak, and of course, please like and subscribe to the show.
Buy our shit. Not yet, Michael.
What did Michael ask?
No, he stole my catchphrase.
It's a terrible one at that. So
hey.
Said, we want to thank once again Adam Housecat for the wrestling song. You know where to find it.
Where do you find it?
iTunes.
How much is it?
You tell me.
How much is it? You guys say it. I can't say it till you say it.
How much?
I'm about to exit this studio.
We want to thank everybody for joining us on this special edition of the Potsy and Tino show.
You're an asshole.
And again, next week we probably will not be on here. If either of us are, it will just be me. and most likely back to our regularly scheduled Thursday night. The following week after that, we will be back to our regular Thursday night. So.
I quit because you didn't let me do my punt. You didn't let me do my catchphrase. You're an asshole. What you hit
This song you can get on iTunes for 99 cents.
99. Y'all be peace. All I wanted to say was 99.